Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with a new lesson, that is Landscape the Soul, written by Nathalie Troveroy. Nathalie Troveroy is an art historian. She has been imbibing the cultures of the various cities. In this lesson, the writer contrasts Chinese painting with the Western painting. This Nathalie was born in Argentina. She is wife of Belgian ambassador to India. Let us begin with the lesson. In the beginning itself, certain expressions are quoted and meanings. Anecdote. Anecdote means an event. Next is delicate realism, means it is a figurative painting. Illusionistic likeness. It's a deception. That is illusion, you all know that. That's a Maya, we say, isn't it? Next is conceptual space. That is conceived by mind. Let us begin. A wonderful old tale is told about the painter Wu Dasoi, who lived in the 8th century. Here, first is, it is little difficult, please concentrate. A wonderful old tale, tale is story, told about the painter. Here the author is narrating two stories. Clear? One is related to the Chinese art and another one is about the European art. So using these two stories, she is trying to explain to you the difference. The wonderful old tale is told about the painter Wu Dasoi, who lived in the 8th century. This is the art painter's name. His last painting was a landscape commissioned by Tang Emperor Xuanzong. So the landscape, what was the painting he made? It's a scenery, and it is actually authorized to do by whom? Tang Emperor Xuanzong. The emperor asked him to make the scenery, to decorate a palace wall. For what purpose the emperor asked him to make the painting? To decorate the palace wall. The master had hidden his work behind a screen, so only the emperor would see it. So what did the painter do? He made the scenery, but he had hidden it behind a screen so that only who will see it? Only the emperor will see it. For a long time, the emperor admired the wonderful scene, discovering forest, high mountains, waterfalls, clouds floating in an immense sky, men on hilly paths, birds in flight. Look, sir, said the painter, in this cave at the foot of the mountain dwells a spirit. So when the emperor had seen seen the landscape scenery, that is, what did he do? He had seen everything. He admired the wonderful scene in that painting. He had seen forest there in that painting. High mountains were there. Waterfalls were there. Clouds floating in the vast sky. Men are there working in the hilly paths. Birds were flying. Everything who had seen, the emperor had seen. Then suddenly the painter said, look, sir. Sir means, please look, sir. In this cave. Where is the cave? The cave is also there in the landscape. That is in the painting made by the painter. He said, in this cave at the foot of the mountain. So whatever the scenery he made, there is a cave also. So the painter is telling the emperor that inside the cave, who is staying there? A spirit is staying there. The painter, and after telling this to the emperor, the painter clapped his hands and the entrance to the cave opened. So the emperor was actually seeing all these things. In front of the emperor, the painter clapped his hand and the cave opened. The inside is splendid. Splendid means beautiful. Beyond anything words can convey. Even you will not get any words to describe the interior side of the cave. Please let me show your majesty the way. The painter entered the cave. After what did he do? The painter, after clapping the hands, what happened? The entrance of the cave opened, and he said that he wanted to show here the emperor what? The painter entered the cave, but the entrance closed behind him. What did he do? He just entered inside the cave, and what closed? The door also closed. Not only that happened, before the astonished emperor could move or utter a word, even the emperor cannot, he was so shocked, he cannot even speak a word. The painting had vanished from the wall. So the which wall was used by the painter to do the painting? The palace wall. In that palace wall the painting made, and when the painter entered inside the what painting? That painting itself disappeared. Just see, the painting had vanished from the wall. Not a trace of Davousier's brush was left, and the artist has never seen again in this world. This is the story who wanted to tell you about the paintings of Chinese paintings, isn't it? The author. Such stories play an important part in China's classical education. So the author is saying that such type of stories are plenty in the Chinese classical education. The books of Confucius and Zhuangzi, they are one is Confucius is the religious philosopher of China, and Zhuangzi is the Chinese philosopher, are full of them. Whose books such stories are there? The books of Confucius and Zhuangzi. They help the master to guide his disciple in the right direction. So such books will help the people to guide his disciple. The disciple is the followers in the right direction. Beyond the anecdote, beyond the descriptive, or beyond the personal account, they are deeply revealing. Revealing means disclosing of the spirit in which art was considered. And contrast to this story or another famous one about a painter. So one story she said, now the another story she is saying that a painter who wouldn't draw the eye of a dragon, he had painted. So one painter was there, he made a what picture? The picture of the dragon, but he did not draw the eyes of the dragon. Why? Because the painter fear it would fly out of the painting. With an old story from my native Flanders is here Holland, that I find most representative of Western painting. That is about what? The Western painting. So did you understand? So first one, the story the author said about Chinese painting, and he said that it is the painting disappeared from the wall, and the artist also never seen. Next, actually, the such stories are common. These are the summary of the first two paragraphs. Such stories are very common in Chinese classical education. He said that even a painter who had drawn the picture of a dragon, but did not draw the eye of the dragon because it should come out of the painting. So now next author, what is he saying? Next paragraph, let us see. In 15th century, Antwerp, a master blacksmith called Quentin Metzys fell in love with a painter's daughter. Now the another story he is narrating. That is in the 15th century in Antwerp. What happened? Antwerp is a city in Netherlands. What happened? There is a blacksmith. What was his name? Quentin Metzys fell in love with a painter's daughter. ഒരു പെയിൻറ്ററുടെ മകളുമായിട്ട് എന്തായി ലവ് ആയി. The father would not accept a son-in-law in such a profession. So an artist, a painter, doesn't want his daughter to be married to whom? To a blacksmith. So what did this man do? The Quentin sneaked into the painter's studio. Sneaked means entered secretly and painted a fly on his latest panel. And what did he do? He very secretly entered into whose room? The painter's room. And what did he do? He just draw a fly. That is flannel. Then with such a delicate realism means very reality. In reality means it looks like a real fly that the master tried to swat it away. Swat it away means stuck it with hands. Actually, when the painter came back, he had seen a fly in his painting. What did he do? He tried to stuck it with his hands. He thought that it's a real fly sitting on his painting. Before he realized that, suddenly he realized that what had happened. Quentin was immediately admitted as an apprentice into his studio. So Quentin was called by the painter and he asked him to work under him. He married his beloved and then the painter allowed Quentin to marry his daughter. Quentin was immediately admitted as an apprentice into his studio. He married his beloved and went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age. And after that, who became very famous? The blacksmith, that is Quentin Metsys, became very famous. These two stories illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve: a perfect illusionistic likeness. Illusionistic likeness means mystery in Europe, the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia. So what does it show? It shows what? It shows the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia. Did you understand? That is there are two stories he narrated, and what is he wanted to tell us about the mystery in Europe, the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia. In the Chinese story, the emperor commissions a painting and appreciates its outer appearance, but the artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. So now the father is telling you about what is the intention of the Chinese painter. The emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered, but only the artist knows the way within. Let me show the way, the Dao, a word that means both the path or the method, and the mysterious works of the universe. The painting is gone, but the artist has reached his goal beyond any material appearance. So what the author is saying that see, the artists have their own views, but that is different from whom? That is different from the emperor. Clear? In Europe, the artist wants to wants the viewer to see a real view by viewpoint by borrowing his eyes, whereas in China, the artist does not paint a real one, but uses his inner and spiritual voice to create an abstract piece. So artist wants the viewer to enter his mind and create a path of his own. So that is what the author had written in this paragraph. Clear? So actually a classical painter, Chinese landscape is not. Now let us see the next paragraph. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view, as would a Western figurative painting. Figurative painting is symbolic, whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes. What is the intention of the European painter? He asks you to borrow his eyes and look at a particular landscape exactly as he saw it. So there the pressure is there from the European painter. You look to his creativity through his eyes. Understood? From a specific angle, the Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. The landscape is not a real one, and you can enter it from any point, then travels in it. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel, even more true in the case of horizontal scroll, and in which the action of slowly opening one section of the painting, then rolling it up to move on the other, adds a dimension of time which is unknown in any other form of painting. It also requires the active participation of the viewer, who decides at what pace he will travel through the painting, a participation which is physical as well as mental. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes. He wants you to enter his mind. The landscape is an inner one, a spiritual and conceptual space. Conceptual space means conceived by the mind. So what is the intention of the, what is the difference between Chinese versus European viewpoints? Clear? So we learned about the realism in European paintings. Clear? And that is the blacksmith, how he draw the the fly in one of the painting. That is the realism. Now in this paragraph, the poet is speaking about the difference between the Chinese and the European painters. The classical, what he said, the classical Chinese landscape, the focus is not on realism. It is not the actual view that a Chinese painter would paint. But Western painting is very figurative. Clear? Western painting is very symbolic. European painters focus on realism or the actual landscape. A European painter wants you to see the painting through his eyes. You will still have to borrow his eyes. On the other hand, you can enter a Chinese painting or landscape from any point. I hope you understood what is the difference between Chinese painting and the European painting. You have the freedom. Chinese landscape is not a real one. It allows the active participation of the viewer. The viewer decides at what pace he will travel through the painting. So the Chinese painter is not forcing you to see through the painter's eyes. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes. He wants you to enter his mind. So what is the intention of the Chinese painter? He wants the viewers to enter his mind. I hope you understood. The landscape is an inner one and it is a spiritual and it can be conceived by mind. This concept is expressed as san shui, really literally mountain water, which used together represent the word landscape. This is the Chinese philosophy. ഇതിനെയാണ് എന്തെന്ന് പറയുന്നത്? ചൈനീസ് ഫിലോസഫി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. എന്താണ് ചൈനീസ് ഫിലോസഫി? Just see, more than two elements of an image, these represent two complementary poles. Which are the two images? The Taoist view of the universe, the mountain is yang, reaching vertically towards heaven and stable, warm and dry in the sun, while water in. San Shui theory. What is San Shui theory? See, just have a look. Yin is a horizontal and resting on the earth, fluid, moist and cool. The interaction of yin in the receptive feminine. Yin is termed as feminine aspect of universal energy and its counterpart is yang. Yang is the mountain, isn't it? So yang is very active and it is termed as masculine. Is of course a fundamental notion of Taoism. Taoism is what? It's the theory. What is often overlooked means ignored, is an essential third element, that is the middle void. Void is the empty space where their interaction takes place. This can be compared with the yogic practice of pranayama. So അതിനൊരു ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഒരു എംറ്റി സ്പേസ് ഉണ്ട്. അതിനെ എന്തുമായിട്ടാണ് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്? പ്രാണായാമയായിട്ടാണ് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. ബ്രീത്ത് ഇൻ, റീറ്റെയിൻ, ബ്രീത്ത് ഔട്ട്. ദ സസ്പെൻഷൻ ഓഫ് ബ്രീത്ത് ഈസ് ദ വോയിഡ്. നമ്മൾ ആ ബ്രീത്ത് ഇൻ ചെയ്തിട്ട് കുറച്ച് സമയം സ്പേസ് വരും ബ്രീത്ത് ഔട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് മുമ്പേ. അത് ആ സ്പേസിനെയാണ് വോയിഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. വോയിഡ് മീൻസ് വാക്വം, വെയർ മെഡിറ്റേഷൻ വർക്കേഴ്സ്. ആ മൊമെൻറ്റിലാണ്, ആ സ്പേസിലാണ് വാട്ട് ഹാപ്പൻസ്, മെഡിറ്റേഷൻ വർക്കേഴ്സ്. ദ മിഡിൽ വോയിഡ് is essential. Nothing can happen without it. Hence, the importance of the white unpainted space in the Chinese landscape. Now, what is san shui? You just listen to the summary of this paragraph. San shui literally means mountain water. What is san shui? That is actually a Chinese philosophy. അതിൻ്റെ ലിറ്ററലി മീനിങ് എന്താണ്? മൗണ്ടൻ വാട്ടർ എന്നാണ്. So these two elements, mountain water എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ there are two elements. One is mountain and another one is water. These two elements represent the Taoist view of the universe. Mountain is termed as yang and it rises vertically to heaven. You all know how the mountain is. The water is here. It is horizontal and resting on the earth. Yang and Ea are not opposite. They are complementary. They are not opposite things, they are complementary. Yang is very active and Yang is termed as masculine. Yin is receptive and feminine concept of energy. The third element is overlooked. What is the third element is overlooked means ignored. It is the middle void. In this middle void or emptiness, both yang and yin interact. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ രണ്ടിൻ്റെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന ആ എംറ്റി സ്പേസിൻ്റെ സമയത്താണ് both of them used to interact. It is like the suspension of breath in the yogic പ്രാക്ടീസ് പ്രാണായാമ. ആ വോയിഡ് ഏതുമായിട്ടാണ് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്? ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് കമ്പയർഡ് ടു ദ വാട്ട്? ദ യോഗ വിച്ച് പ്രാണായാമയുമായിട്ടാണ് അവിടെ കമ്പയർ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. Did you understand? It's nothing. Only they are explaining about the Chinese philosophy. What is the Chinese philosophy saying? Sanshui. That is what is actually Sanshui means. It means mountain water. That is the concept of yang and yin. What is mountain? Yang mountain is yang, and what is yin? Yin is water. The next paragraph, this is also where man finds a fundamental role. In that space between heaven and earth, he becomes the conduit of communication. Conduit means medium of communication between both poles of the universe. His presence is essential. Even if it is only suggested, far from being lost or oppressed by the lofty peaks. Lofty means high peaks. He is in Francois Chang's wonderful expression, the eye of the landscape. Who is called as the eye of the landscape? Human being is the eye of the landscape. What is the man's fundamental role mentioned here? Man's fundamental role is man's role is fundamental in any art. ഏത് ആർട്ട് എടുത്താലും അതിൻ്റെ അടിസ്ഥാനം ആരാണ്? ഹ്യൂമൻ ബീങ്സ് ആണ്. Man lies between heaven and earth. He is the medium of communication between both poles of universe. So his presence is very essential. He is termed as the eye of the landscape. This is actually taken from the landscape of the soul, ethics and spirituality in Chinese paintings. That is slightly edited. It's the original only. It's a portion taken from which I say landscape of the soul, ethics and spirituality in Chinese. Now next one is about the getting inside outsider art. This is outsider art, the concept of outsider art. Let us see what is the outsider art the author wanted to share with you. When French painter Jean Dubuffet mooted the concept of art brut in the 1940s, the art of the untrained visionary was of minority interest from its almost veiled beginnings, and outsider art has gradually become the fastest growing area of interest in contemporary art internationally. Now the poet is speaking about what? The author is speaking about the outsider art. What is outsider art? Art brut or raw art. That was actually who had presented by the French painter. What is the name of the French painter? Jean Dubuffet. That is in which year? 1940s. What is this art brut means? It is the art of those artists who have received no formal training. ആരുടെ ആർട്ടിനെയാണ് ആർട്ട് ബ്രൂട്ട് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്? ആരാണോ ഫോർമലായിട്ട് പെയിൻറ്റർ ആവാനുള്ള ട്രെയിനിങ് സ്വീകരിക്കാത്തത്, അവരുടെ വർക്ക്. യെറ്റ് ദേ ഷോ ടാലൻറ്റ് ആൻഡ് ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റിക് ഇൻസൈറ്റ്. ആ ഒരു ട്രെയിനിങ് കിട്ടാതെ തന്നെ അവരെന്ത് കാണിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്? ടാലൻറ്റ് ആൻഡ് ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റിക് ഇൻസൈറ്റ് കാണിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അവരെക്കുറിച്ചാണ് അടുത്തതായി നെക്സ്റ്റിൽ പഠിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത്. So when French painter, what is the French painter's name? Jean. Actually, what did he speak about the French painter? He had mooted. Mooted means presented. What did he present? The concept of art brut. The French painter presented art brut. In which year? 1940s. The art of untrained visionary was of minority interest. So they did not get, visionary means one who sees, minority means not major. They did not get any formal training to become an artist. From its almost veiled means hidden, veiled beginnings, outsider art has gradually become the fastest. So what did they become? That type of artwork started growing very fast, and why the interest of in contemporary art of internationally. What is contemporary means? Belong to the same time. The genre is described as the art of those who have no right. The genre means style. Style is described as the art of those who have no right to be artists, as they have received no formal training, yet show talent and artistic insight. Their works are a stimulating contrast to a lot of mainstream offerings. Their stimulating means very exciting. What is mainstream means mainline. People were attracted by that type of art. What is that? Outsider art means the concept of art brut, raw art, that was passed by whom? By the French painter Jean Dubuffet. That is in which year? 1940s. What type of art is this? It is the art of those artists who have received no formal training, yet they show talent and artistic insight. I hope you understood. The next paragraph. Around the time Dubuffet was propounding his concept. What happened? What is propounding means? Presenting his concept in India. An untutored genius was creating paradise. See, years ago, the little patch of jungle that he began clearing to make himself a garden, sculpted with stone and recycled material, is known to the world today as the Rock Garden at Chandigarh. So, when this French painter was speaking about the art, but there is a person in our country, that is years before, what did he do? He cleared all the forest and he started making a garden. Sculpted means drawn into sculptures. And what are the things he used? Recycled material. And now it is known as what? Rock Garden. So this is a beautiful place. I've been and I had seen this Rock Garden at Chandigarh. That's why personally I know it. It is very beautiful. He had used different types of tiles and bangles, the ladies' bangles, glass bangles, and broken glass bangles he had used in order to make statues. Very pretty. And that's a personal thing. Anyway, its 80-year-old creator, director, Nek Chand is now hailed means praised as India's biggest contributor to outsider art. That is art ബ്രട്ടിൻ്റെ ഏറ്റവും ടാലൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആളായിട്ട് അദ്ദേഹത്തിനെ ഡിക്ലെയർ ചെയ്തു. The 50th issue of Raw Vision, and a UK-based magazine, pioneer in outsider arts publications, features Nek Chand and his rock garden sculpture Women by the Waterfall on its anniversary issues cover. ഒരു മാഗസീനിൽ തന്നെ ആരെക്കുറിച്ച് എഴുതിയിരുന്നു? നമ്മുടെ നേക് ചന്ദിനെ കുറിച്ച് ആർട്ടിക്കിൾ വന്നു. ഏത് മാഗസീൻ ആയിരുന്നു? ഇറ്റ് വാസ് റിട്ടൺ ഹിയർ in a issue of Raw Vision, that is Women by the Waterfall, and anniversary issues cover. The notion of art brut or raw art was of works that were in their raw state as regards cultural and artistic influence. It has what influence also? What type of figures were made? Cultural and artistic influential pictures were made by him. Anything and everything from the tin to a stink of a broken down car would be material for a work of art. He used even a bottles, broken car, all the materials he used in order to make this rock garden. Clear? And something Nek Chand has taken to dizzying heights. What is dizzying heights means? Dizzying means great. What did he do? Great heights. What did he use? Just have a look. Dizzying heights, recognizing his art as an outstanding testimony of the difference a single man can make when he lives in his dream. This is an example for the single man's work. Clear? Testimony means proof. This rock garden is a proof, and that's what the author had written. Then what did they do? Just have a look. The Swiss Commission for UNESCO will be honoring him by way of an European exposition of his works. The UNESCO decided to honor him. For what? Exposition means display. In order his works. The display of what? His works. The 5-month interactive show Realm of Nek Chand, beginning October, will be held at leading museums in Switzerland, Belgium, France and Italy. The biggest reward is walking through the garden and seeing people enjoy my creation. Nek Chand says. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ സന്തോഷം നൽകുന്നത് എന്തായിരുന്നു? ഗാർഡനിൽ കൂടെ ആൾക്കാരിങ്ങനെ നടന്ന് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ക്രിയേഷൻസ് എൻജോയ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഒബ്സർവ് ചെയ്യുക. That's what who said? Nek Chand says. Clear? This is written by whom? Brinda Sweth, actually Hindustan Times, 28th August 2005. Hindustan Times vanna article aanu, getting inside the outsider art. So what is it speaking about Nek Chand, an untutored genius? This is an example of what type of art? Art brute. Nek Chand, he is the creator of the rock garden. And which place? In Punjab. Where? In Chandigarh. Was an untutored genius. He has not received any training. He used recycled material to create the world famous rock garden. He is now considered as India's biggest contribution to outsider art. ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ഒരു കോൺട്രിബ്യൂഷൻ ആണ് എന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം. The notion of art brute or raw art recognizes anything or everything from a tin to a sink that can be material for a work of art. Even ഒരു സിങ്ക് തന്നെ പൊട്ടിയ സിങ്കിൻ്റെ പോർഷൻസ് വരെ ഏതിന് യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്? ഈ റോക്ക് ഗാർഡൻ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ അദ്ദേഹം യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. Nek Chand received various awards. ഒരുപാട് അവാർഡ്സ് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് റിസീവ് ചെയ്തു. ഓണേഴ്സ് എവിടെയൊക്കെ ഏതൊക്കെ സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ? ഫ്രാൻസിൽ, ബെൽജിയത്തിൽ ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റലി. ബട്ട് ദ ബിഗ്ഗസ്റ്റ് ഓണർ ഫോർ ഹിം ഈസ് വാക്കിംഗ് ത്രൂ ഹിസ് റോക്ക്. അപ്പോൾ ആ കിട്ടിയ റിസീവ് ചെയ്ത ഓണറൊന്നും അല്ല വലുത്. പക്ഷെ എന്തായിരുന്നു അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ എൻജോയ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്? വാക്കിംഗ് ത്രൂ ഹിസ് റോക്ക് ഗാർഡൻ ആൻഡ് എൻജോയിങ് ഹിസ് ക്രിയേഷൻ. I hope you understood. If you have any doubts, you can contact me. Thank you.